Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into a powerful story. It's from the book The Fight of Faith by Pharma Mara. And this isn't fiction, right? It's her actual life story, published in 2025. Really raw and honest stuff.
Absolutely. And what strikes you immediately is how she frames it. She says she's writing from the battlefield.
Okay.
So it's not like, here's a problem I solved. It's very much, this fight is ongoing.
Yeah, that sets a different tone entirely. It's about resilience in the middle of it all.
Exactly. It's about how faith gets, hammered out on the anvil of real life, day by day.
So our mission today, for you listening, is to unpack the big themes here. We're talking perseverance, making tough choices like her commitment to purity, also tackling those deep family patterns, the stuff that gets passed down, and just the sheer power of conviction.
It all weaves together.
It really does. And we think seeing how it plays out for her might give you some, maybe a blueprint for your own challenges.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. The foundation. She talks about this pivotal promise she made as a child to her mother, to remain a virgin until marriage.
Yeah, and that wasn't just a casual thing. Her mother had her own difficult past, and this promise came from a place of wanting to protect her daughter. Deep stuff.
You can only imagine the weight of that, carrying it from childhood.
Definitely. And then that pressure gets amplified, She moves to India for pharmacy school, and at the same time, her parents are really struggling financially back home. They'd sacrificed so much.
So she's got the promise, the studies, and this feeling that her parents are counting on her.
It's a complex web of expectations, absolutely. It creates a huge burden.
Which brings us to this chapter, temptations and choices. This is where it gets really interesting. She talks about being lonely, feeling uncertain, the money pressure building, and she starts seeking companionship.
Right. And it starts innocently enough, or so it seems, just connections with guys. But then, things shift. They start offering gifts, money, help with finances, basically buying her time and attention.
And she had this rationalization, right?
Yeah. She mentions thinking, well, as long as I don't actually have sex, I'm still keeping my promise.
That's such a relatable human thing, isn't it? Finding those gray areas.
It really is. It makes you ask, where do we draw the line? When does compromise become, something else?
And the temptation didn't stop there. There was this specific offer.
Oh, yeah. A big one. A politician, charming, wealthy, influential, basically offering her riches if she'd just give in.
Wow.
And despite everything, the pressure, the potential relief it offered her family, she stood firm on that original vow. That's real conviction.
But it wasn't easy. She talks about these voices of doubt, whispering things like, is this really worth it? Are you being naive? What if you wait and it's all for nothing?
Those internal battles, they can be the toughest. I think anyone who's made a hard stand can relate to that kind of questioning.
Definitely, it's
But then there's this moment, this pivotal moment she describes, almost like divine intervention. She's feeling totally overwhelmed, the weight of it all, and she hears this voice. She believes it's the Holy Spirit. Right. And it asks a really unexpected question. Can an Android configuration work on an iOS device?
Like a tech analogy.
Exactly. And the explanation followed, something like, just as Android can't run on iOS, two people entering marriage with completely different sexual histories, different configurations from other partners, they'll struggle. It's foolishness, the voice said, to build those intimate experiences with someone you won't spend your life with.
Wow. That's a powerful way to put it.
She said it hit her like lightning. It completely reframed why she was holding on to that promise.
So it wasn't just about duty anymore.
Not just duty or pleasing her mother or even just following a rule. It became about seeing her purity as a gift. A sacred thing for her future marriage, aligned with, what she felt was God's plan for her happiness. It was about building a compatible future.
That's a huge shift in perspective, from obligation to purpose.
Precisely. Prioritizing that future vision over immediate temptations or pleasing others.
Okay, let's move on to the next big hurdle, the temptation of money. This happens during her NYSC time.
Right, the National Youth Service Corps in Nigeria. Mandatory service after graduation.
And she's earning, 33,000 naira a month?
Yeah.
Which is not a lot.
Especially not when your parents, who've sacrificed everything, are now looking at you as their liberator from poverty. That's immense pressure.
So you're trying to build a life, support yourself, and you feel this weight of your entire family's future on your shoulders. What does that do to a person?
Well, it sets the stage for another major test. That politician comes back into the picture, or maybe it was another one, offering millions of naira. Again, the offer is tied to submission, directly challenging her convictions about purity and integrity.
And that internal voice comes back again, right? The temptation.
Oh, yeah. She writes about thinking, it's just one time. Think of the good you could do. Fix everything for your parents.
But she refused. Again.
She saw the cost as just too high. It would undermine everything she believed about herself and her future. It connects right back to that Android EOS insight.
It's amazing consistency under pressure. But what happened next is also pretty incredible.
Yeah, instead of getting stuck on what she refused, she immediately hustled. Found a locum pharmacy job on the side.
Working 6 days a week, adding another 20,000 naira.
Right. And then, she says, provision just started showing up in unexpected ways. Customers appreciating her work, tipping well. Sometimes she'd make like 3 times her basic salary in a month just from that appreciation.
It really seems like her commitment opened other doors. Like trusting in a different kind of provision.
It's a powerful illustration of that, yeah. Choosing integrity and then finding support came through that commitment, not through compromise.
And this whole period led her to think more about parenting too, didn't it?
It did. She realized how even really loving, godly parents can unintentionally put this huge burden on their kids, this pressure to make it, to be the solution.
Yeah, that's a subtle but important point. How those family expectations, even the well-meaning ones, shape your sense of self, your choices.
Absolutely. It ties into self-worth. Do you feel valued for who you are or for what you can achieve or provide?
There's a story she tells that really brings this home. About a phone breaking.
Oh, the Samsung Note 2 story? Yes. This was while she was studying abroad in India. Her phone breaks. It was one her dad had bought her, and his reaction when she couldn't answer, it was harsh.
What did he say?
Something like, how dare you not pick up the phone I bought for you with my money? And then he basically said, tough luck. Figure it out yourself. No help.
Ouch. And she's abroad on a tiny allowance.
It's exactly only 6,000 rupees a month. But she didn't just give up. She buckled down, saved for 6 months straight, cut costs everywhere, less internet, eating cheap soya balls instead of meat. Just pure grit.
And she managed to save up.
Yep. Saved 12,000 rupees. Then she rallied her classmates, got them to help her pre-order a new phone, a Redmi Note 4 Pro, right when it launched. Incredible resourcefulness.
But the real moment comes after she gets the phone.
Oh, yeah. That's the turning point. Her dad calls, she doesn't pick up right away, and he starts yelling again.
And this time?
This time, she cuts him off. Calmly, but firmly. She says, and I'm paraphrasing from the book, Daddy, please don't shout. Remember, this phone, I bought this one with my own sweat, my hard work.
Whoa.
She goes on, so now I have the full right to pick up what I want, and if anyone stresses me out, I'll block them no matter who they are.
That takes guts.
Yeah.
Especially given the cultural context, perhaps.
Huge guts. And the impact on her was profound. She writes, the act of parent worship died in me.
Parent worship. That's a strong phrase.
Isn't it? It wasn't about disrespecting him. It was about realizing her value, her destiny, wasn't tied to his approval or anyone else's expectations. It came from her character, her choices, her relationship with God. It was a massive internal liberation, finding her own feet.
That's a powerful story, finding your own voice. But her struggles weren't over. She talks about a really low point after that.
Yeah, the Canada visa rejection, that hit her hard. Really hard.
She describes being on a rooftop balcony.
And hearing that dark whisper, the voice of suicide, just jump, end it all. A terrifyingly bleak moment.
Just awful. But something stopped her.
Right then, in that darkness, her phone rings.
Who was it?
It was her dad.
Her dad, after the phone incident.
Yeah. And his tone was completely different, gentle, concerned. And then he said something he'd apparently never said before.
What was it?
He said, Favor, I love you.
Wow.
She said it was like a balm to her soul. It literally pulled her back from the edge.
That timing. It's incredible. And from the most unexpected person, given their recent conflict.
It really underscores the lesson she learned there. Hope can sustain us, and sometimes love and support show up when and where you least expect it.
It makes you think, doesn't it? About those small moments of connection, how much they can matter.
Absolutely. You never know what impact a kind word or just showing up can have.
Okay, another really intense chapter is called Betrayal in the Dark. This deals with an almost raped experience.
Yes, this was back in Bangalore after her final exams. She needed a place to stay for a bit. She trusted these guys, Charles, David, Williams. She saw them as brothers, people from her church community, so she felt safe staying with them.
That sense of safety makes the betrayal even worse.
Exactly. On the first night, Charles tries to molest her. shocks her completely.
And it didn't stop there.
No. Later, they organize this truth or dare game, but she realizes it's orchestrated, designed to get her drunk. The dares are degrading, and when she refuses, the penalty is drinking. She ends up being forced to drink over half a bottle of whiskey.
Oh my God, that's premeditated. It's horrifying.
It is. And then while she's completely intoxicated, Charles tries to drag her into the bathroom.
Yeah.
She's screaming, "Don't touch me!" And thankfully, another friend who is there, Jack, steps in.
Yep.
Yeah, he physically pushed Charles away. And then, incredibly, he stayed up all night, guarding her door, making sure she was safe until she sobered up.
Thank goodness for Jack, a real hero in that moment.
Absolutely. She expresses immense gratitude towards him. But the betrayal from the others, it left scars.
I can only imagine.
It just highlights, again, that this fight of faith, especially her fight for purity, required constant vigilance. The threat wasn't always obvious. It could come from people she trusted.
A really stark reminder. Okay, so moving on from that trauma, she faces another battle, this one very internal. The voices of doubt again, but about something different.
Right. This time it's about her deepest desire, motherhood.
She's married now, but after a year, still no pregnancy.
And that brings its own kind of torment. She describes these internal taunts, which she again attributes to a negative spiritual force, pointing to biblical figures, Sarah, Rebecca, Elizabeth, who also faced infertility, trying to make her doubt, trying to suggest that her choices, her chastity, hadn't guaranteed the blessing she expected.
Using faith against her, basically.
Exactly, undermining her belief that her path would lead to that particular blessing. But then she feels that divine reassurance again.
What did it say this time?
A reminder. Remember who you are. Your path is different. Your story is not like theirs.
A callback to her unique journey.
Yes. And she makes this powerful declaration, basically telling those doubts, my case is different. God will honor his promise. He will use me for a testimony.
Holding on to faith, even when the evidence seems contrary. That takes strength.
It really does. But the battle didn't stop with infertility. She says it then upgraded to attack her marriage itself.
How so? Her husband sounds like a good guy from her description.
He does. She lists his positive qualities, doesn't drink, smoke, cheat, not abusive, solid guy. Yet she describes these persistent thoughts, temptations for both of them, pushing them towards separation, whispers suggesting incompatibility despite the good foundation.
So even in a seemingly good marriage, there were other forces at play.
That's how she perceived it. And this leads to a really fascinating revelation she had.
Okay.
It was April 28th, 2024. After a big argument with her husband, she felt she received this insight from God about their ultimate mission together.
An ultimate mission.
Yes.
For their marriage.
Yes. The idea was that they were brought together specifically to break negative, long-standing patterns, which she calls family curses, in both of their bloodlines. That their individual life challenges had actually trained them differently precisely for this joint mission.
Wow. Okay, break that down. What were the specific patterns?
In her family, she saw a history of stable, monogamous marriages on the surface. But underneath, there was this alarming pattern of deep hatred and jealousy among siblings. And she saw it starting to creep into her own generation. So her mission, as she sees it, is to bring unity back.
And her husband.
His background was different. He lost his parents young, bounced between relatives, saw a lot of instability in unions around him. So his deep desire, his mission, is to be a completely different kind of husband and father, to break that cycle of unstable homes.
So their individual struggles and desires actually prepared them for a shared purpose they didn't even realize at first.
Exactly. It's like they indirectly prayed for each other through their life experiences. She believes the struggles in their marriage are spiritual own acts because of this mission.
Yeah.
As two firstborns, they're positioned, in her view, to rewrite their family narratives. It casts marital conflict in a very different spiritual warfare kind of light.
That's a really profound perspective on marriage, not just about personal happiness, but about generational impact.
It is. And she notes something interesting. Because of her earlier choices about purity and finances, those things aren't the major battlegrounds in her marriage now.
Right. She kind of dealt with those temptations earlier.
Yes. But she says the war is just beginning on these other fronts, these deeper generational patterns. Yet she holds on to her faith. She says, we will never be defeated.
So wrapping this all up, what's the takeaway for someone listening? Pharma Mara's story, this fight of faith. What does it mean for us?
I think it's a powerful reminder that our biggest battles, whether they're about personal integrity, money, self-worth, healing, or even our family's future, They're deeply personal, yes, but maybe also deeply spiritual.
Yeah, there's often more going on beneath the surface than we realize.
And her story really embodies that saying. Patience isn't just the ability to wait, but how we behave while we are waiting. She shows that even when the war feels like it's still raging, victory is possible, maybe even in the making, if we stay true to our core convictions.
And about the posture we hold during the struggle.
Exactly.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Thinking about Pharma Mara's journey, especially that realization about breaking generational patterns, what unseen patterns, what long-standing ways of being or relating in your own family history might you be uniquely positioned to see, and maybe even to change for the generations that come after you? Something to chew on until our next deep dive.